What's going on, everybody? My name is Jesse, and welcome to my wrestling show, the place where we talk about all things wrestling. And I got a good one for you today. I want to talk about, does Iowa have a legitimate shot, a legitimate chance to beat Penn State for the team national championship? One of the best parts about the NCAA tournament is talking about projecting, trying to figure out who is going to win the team title. And even teams who aren't going to win the team title. Can they get a team trophy? Are they going to finish in the top 10? It makes the national tournament very fun to watch. Even to the point where right when the NCAA tournament ends, we start talking about next year's team race. Take the seniors out, move the freshmen in, red shirts coming in. What does it look like next year? I mean, we are addicted to the team race. We talk about it right when the NCAA tournament ends every single year. It's one of the best parts and makes the tournament really, really fun. Now, in the past, two teams have really been the main contenders in the team race for the last decade. And nothing's really changed. It's going to be Penn State is the heavy favorite. And we'll see if Iowa could potentially push Penn State for that team title. Now, Penn State's the heavy favorite. There's no doubt about that. But could Iowa inch up little by little and maybe make this team race interesting? Penn State has won 9 team titles out of the last 11. But some of those team title races were probably a little bit closer than you might remember. Here is a look at the last 15 seasons of the champion and the runner-up. If you remember back in 2018, Penn State and Ohio State had that amazing team race where it literally came back to the last few finals matches. Penn State ended up winning 141.5 to Ohio State's 133.5. And if you remember, that's when Bo Nickel pinned Miles Martin, jumped into Cal Sanderson's arm because he had clinched the team title for Penn State. That was such a fun team race that year. Going back even further to 2014, when you see Penn State barely edged out Minnesota by 5.5 points. If one or two bouts change, Minnesota wins that team race. And then the year before that, it was even closer, edging out Oklahoma State by only 4 points. That's a finals match, guys. If one of the Penn State guys in the finals doesn't win, they tie Oklahoma State for the national championship. It was that close. So here is a look at the scoring at the national tournament. I won't go through it line by line, but if you want to look at it in depth, go ahead and pause this and kind of walk through it. But the basic principle is, for team points, you get placement points and advancement points. Placement points for finish first, second, third, so on. And then advancement points for advancing in the bracket, winning a match, basically. So if you win your quarterfinals match, so you win your quarterfinals to advance to the semifinals, you can do no worse than 6th place. So you would get 6 placement points and 1 advancement point. So for every match your team wins in the quarterfinals, you would score 7 team points. So pause it here, study it out if you want, so you can kind of understand the team scoring. So this is what I want to take you guys through. This is what I want to play around with. I looked at Intermat's rankings, and I put them in here as this is where they'd finish. So if you looked at Intermat's rankings today, they have Iowa scoring 77.5 points and Penn State scoring 98 points based on these finishes. So I want to go through here. I'm going to mess with the finishes a little bit and see what that does to the final team points. We have the totals down here so we can watch those change as I change some of these outcomes. And of course, on Iowa's side, you have Spencer Lee, currently ranked number 1, scoring 20 team points. Now remember, take into account, this does not take into account bonus points. Spencer Lee likely will get bonus points, which are not added in here. So Spencer Lee, ranked first. He's going to finish first. For Iowa to have a chance, he's got to win, right? So this is where it starts to get interesting. Brody Teske. He wrestled at Northern Iowa. He's coming in to compete with Spencer Lee and Real Woods every day and be coached by the Brands. Iowa has really good lightweights. How much better is Brody Teske going to get? Maybe it's reasonable to say he's going to finish 7th. And that gives them 5 extra team points. Patrick Kennedy, this is a big one. Maybe he finishes 6th, right? He did wrestle Alex Marinelli really close this past year, and he has some decent wins. Nelson Brands, he's a really hard wrestler. Maybe he finishes 5th, right? And so just those few changes, you have Iowa at 98.5 points, right there with Penn State. Now let's say Nelson Brands, he doesn't place, he gets 12th. Well, maybe Max Murin, who's currently ranked 7th, maybe he can get 4th, right? And Real Woods, we cannot forget Real Woods. He's currently ranked 2nd, maybe he wins. And now Iowa is at 100 points. And that's with Real Woods winning, Max Murin doing slightly better than he's ranked, and Patrick Kennedy getting 6th and Brody Teske getting 7th. And let's put Brody Teske back, right? Let's say he doesn't All-American and it's just Patrick Kennedy. The only thing that changes is Real Woods wins, Max Murin gets 4th, and Patrick Kennedy gets 6th. Iowa's right there. Let's say Jacob Warner flips the result with Max Dean. That's a big swing. That's 8 points right there, 99.5 to 94 points. So a lot of things have to go right for Iowa, but I do think they have the bullets to catch Penn State. Now, Penn State fans, hold on. I know you're probably over there saying, well, wait a second. What about Bo Bartlett? What about Shane Van Ness, Alex Facundo? They're not scoring any team points right now in the rankings. And you would be right. That's the other thing that has to happen for this team race to get interesting. Iowa not only has to overperform and probably get 1 or 2 extra All-Americans, but Bo Bartlett, Shane Van Ness, depending on who wrestles at 157, Alex Facundo, they can't place. They can't end up on the podium, or it's going to get really difficult for Iowa. So if Shane Van Ness gets 7th and Alex Facundo gets 7th, they just jump to 110. That gets really tough for Iowa, right? So I just watched the Penn State duel. I'm filming this right after Penn State beat Lock Haven. Shane Van Ness and Alex Facundo looked really, really good. I'm excited to see what they look like against a little bit higher competition, but they're looking tough, right? So 165 is a tough weight class. So let's say Facundo finishes 12th. Even with Shane getting 7th, they're at 106. In none of these scenarios did Iowa really get close to that 106 number. They're going to need another All-American if Facundo or Shane Van Ness plays. And so Iowa has to overperform, and Penn State basically can only score with RBY, Carter Starocki, Aaron Brooks, Max Dean, and Greg Kurtlevitt. So it is possible maybe RBY loses to Dayton Fix. Maybe Makai Lewis beats Carter Starocki. And while there is quality wrestlers in 184 and 197, it would probably be really unrealistic to say all 4 of these guys are going to get 2nd. Like, that's just not going to happen. Maybe one of them loses, but you're not going to have all 4 get 2nd, right? So everything's got to go just right for Iowa. They probably need 7 All-Americans realistically. Spencer's got to win. Real's probably got to win. Jacob Warner's got to make the finals. Max Murin can't finish 7th. He probably has to get higher. And then you need probably a couple more All-Americans in there to catch up with Penn State. And they're going to have a letdown, right? Shane Van Ness is probably going to have to finish in the blood round. Facundo in the blood round. Bo Bartlett, round of 16 or the blood round. They're going to have to miss out on some of these placement points. That's what I got for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. In the comments, let me know where I underestimated a wrestler or overestimated a wrestler. Iowa fans, let me know what I got wrong. Penn State fans, let me know what I got wrong. Maybe let me know what I got right. Let's talk about wrestling in the comments. Subscribe, like. Let's build a community around the sport that we love. And remember, if you don't subscribe, your kid, they might end up being a basketball player. We'll see you next time.